National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week, and according to a new report by the organization Pure Leaf, it's a problem that affects 800 million children right now.
That's when Gloria, the health department lady that I had come out to my house, she even noticed the first time she got out of her car, she knew the house was full of lead.
Many of the homes here in Toledo were built prior to lead paint being banned in 1978, which is why a local expert says that this is one of the worst areas for lead poisoning here in the country.
The landlord, if he knew about lead himself, he wouldn't even probably wanted his own children in the home.
Lead poisoning is a lifelong condition that can cause learning disabilities, low IQ, and even increase the likelihood of criminal activity. Young children are required to be screened for lead levels until the age of 6.
So we stopped continuing to remodel the bathroom because we had to get out of that house. Well, I'm adopted. Didn't have a mom or dad. I was adopted to my grandfather. Shortly after that, I moved out at 18, had my own place. I'm a caring person. I help everybody that needs help. If they have kids, I'm there. You know, anything that the case could be, I'm a very caring person. My daughter, well, her name is Amara. She's a very outgoing girl. She has a lot of questions. She's very smart, intelligent. She knows everything. She's always been smart since the age of 2, especially with numbers, ABCs, and what things are. She's very familiar. She's really smart. Every single day she's learning something new, or asking a question about something, and then she'll talk about it. Just more of being in that questioning area of her life of being 3. I think it's something that I notice about her. She gets smarter as the days go by and bigger. These 2 homes that I lived in, I never even recognized of lead being there. Wasn't even really familiar what lead was. So at the time, I didn't know my daughter was around that type of environment in those houses, which could have really put my daughter into harm's way. I'm happy that didn't happen, or hospitalization. It could have been there. I'm just happy that it didn't extend to that level of issues with her. Mostly the window seals where the paints were cracking into the windows was tested. Floors, carpets, the paint on the outside of the house, the inside of the house, and even in the whole house altogether. It was found with lead in every room, even my daughter's room at the time. Might as well tear it down and rebuild it. That's how much lead was found in the home. The house that the lead was presented in the first case of the whole situation, the landlord stated, "Oh, we didn't have no lead in my home." Come to find out, there was lead in the home. I got paperwork. And then he told us we had to get out that day when he got the paperwork, tried to threaten me to move. First it was found in my daughter, then it was found in your home, and it just played back to you. So it was never technically my fault why the health department involved themselves into your home. If he knew about lead himself, he wouldn't even probably wanted his own children in the home.
One of the impacts of lead exposure is just a real challenge for the development of a child's brain. So lead can cause a poison to anybody at any age, but young people, particularly very young people, can have serious neurological impacts by being exposed to lead, impacts that last their whole lifetime, impacts that cause them to perhaps have a harder time learning, have a harder time keeping themselves in control. And that plays out their whole life, because once you're lead poisoned, that damage is often permanent. And so stopping lead poisoning before it happens is one of the best things that a community can do to really help make sure that it has a good future.
I still am learning about lead. What is it? What is it gonna do to my child? What can it do to her in the future? Could it cause disabilities? What if the lead levels don't go down? Would she become hospitalized? It's just a lot of the effects after the fact of me finding out she had lead and speaking to other people about lead, that side effects could happen out of this, in which, thank the Lord, so far they haven't really noticed any issues as of the lead problems that she's experienced. She was still really young, so it was very unnoticeable to me because of her age. It was her first lead test with her doctor when I found out about lead in the home. and then moved out of there straight into the second house, which that's where the worst of the lead was at, honestly, inside out. That's when Gloria, the health department lady that I had come out to my house, she even noticed the first time she got out of her car, she knew the house was full of lead. Fully painted the home, remodeled bathroom, was going to buy the home. I painted the whole front, scraped it all of us scraped it ourselves and painted the front of the house. We scraped the side of the house, but never even got to paint it because the health department came out. Window seals and windows, we never got to it because, as I said, we found out the house had lead in it.
Windows are the #1 place where lead poisoning occurs around, because when they come up and they come down, they grind down that paint. And if that paint is lead-based, then they create a bunch of lead dust. Covering that old lead paint with new latex paint, ensuring that it stays maintained, ensuring that those areas are clean, is one of the biggest steps that any landlord can take in order to prevent lead poisoning, also on the outside of the property.
To find out that, my step up of trying to get a house out of foreclosure just to buy it would have been the wrong move for me, would have been very heartbreaking, because I thought I was gonna become higher up in life where I own my house and gone from there.
Specifically for Shannon's case, the land bank is an acquisition tool, but through our communications with our local agencies, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is being an acquisition tool to meet a community need. The Lucas County Health Department provided us with a list of properties that had some lead issues in them that led to children being poisoned at a higher level than normal. So what we did at the Lucas County Land Bank was target those particular properties. Specifically with Shannon's case, we were successfully able to acquire that property, position it for a demolition candidate, and move forward with demolishing that property and creating a lead-safe environment for the community.
Honestly, the best home I had where I felt welcomed is here, where I currently live now. Provided paperwork that this house did not have lead in it. It's a safe environment for me and my daughter to move into, and they welcome me into their home and as a perfect landlord to me.
Landlords have some basic but real responsibilities when it comes to dealing with lead poisoning and preventing it in their properties. No one requires anyone to be a landlord, but if you choose to be a landlord, then you have to take some basic steps to provide a safe, clean, and sanitary environment for the people that you rent to. And now in Toledo, one of the ways that that happens is by getting a lead-safe certificate, by ensuring that the paint in your property on both the outside and the inside is contained, that it is not likely to cause a lead hazard for the people that are living there, and to help your tenants understand that situation so that they can also take steps on their own to deal with it.
What I hope for her is a future, a career, a diploma, to become something, be a good guidance to her, and that I didn't have in my life. My future for her is to just be there for her, and for her to actually have a mom or father, which she has that, which is something which is very big that I didn't have. She wants to be a doctor, so I hope she keeps that little momentum of wanting to be a doctor right now. So I just hope she keeps that mind of state to wanting to be a doctor. That's a good career to go follow through in. Don't move nobody in the home if you have lead. It was a scary thought when my daughter had it. Like I said, she was very close to hospitalization. I wasn't aware of the things that was going on of lead, and now that I know a little bit about it, I try to make sure that's the first thing that plays a part when I move into a home, because only if moms knew what the feeling is of going through their child possibly being hospitalized is just very scary.
So one of the largest problems we have in our community is the fact that around 500 children every year are poisoned by lead. And this is an effect that troubles them for the rest of their lives.
We go into the home and we immediately know that there's lead in there. And also we discovered that Shannon was in the process of remodeling this home.
If you live in a historic home or any home that was built before 1978, you're most likely to be lead poisoned. And every zip code in Toledo is considered high risk by the state.